Alright, here's Q&A number 33. For those of you who might be watching this for like the first time or new to this, the number means nothing. I don't know why I number it. I don't know why a lot of YouTubers number their series when there's no reason for it. But this is one of them. The Q&A series. I should probably leave off the number though. It might actually be hurting its views now that I think about it. Anyways, this is like a once a month thing I do. It's not very highly edited. I just answer questions from the last video and then I go off on lots of tangents and talk about myself. Okay, so first up, I have like this huge list right here. I do it all before I actually start recording. It says talk about raid team. Oh, right. The guild I'm in. We need some DPS. I'll put like the link in the description if you want to raid with me on Wednesdays and Thursdays at around 7 p.m. my time, I think. You should sign up. We need more people. Not a whole bunch, but this series doesn't get a lot of views anyway, so I thought this would be a nice place to ask probably. So if you want to raid, I'll have a link like the very first thing in the description. Next up, it says sick. Oh right, I was gonna make this Q&A video before I left on my vacation. So I went on vacation last week, and I had planned to make a whole bunch of videos for the week that I was gone. But like 3 to 4 days before I was gonna leave, I got sick. It was like one of the most mild sicknesses I've ever had. I just had a sore throat, which I'm not used to. Usually when I get sick, it's like the whole shebang every single time. Sore throat, runny nose, headaches, a high fever and everything. I rarely ever just get like one symptom. But this time around, it was just a sore throat, and I was like kind of surprised. I was like, huh, this isn't actually half bad. I don't have to blow my nose every 2 seconds, and my head's not on fire. If getting sick was this mild all the time, I probably wouldn't be such a germaphobe. I'm still not... I think I kind of know how I got sick. I think my little brother gave it to me. He calls me up out of the blue. He's like, hey, let's go get some burgers at this really delicious burger place. And I was like, okay. And so we drove out there and came back. And then he's like, oh, I need someone who has like who's over 18 to help me buy this Sudafed, some allergy medication. He's like, 'cause my throat's been hurting. I was like, God damn it. You should have told me this before this all happened. I know he listens to these. You got me sick. But it was just my throat. And because of that, I wasn't able to actually like make a backlog of videos before I went on vacation. Speaking of which, my head is shedding right now. My scalp got sunburned. Because I went to California. I didn't like say anything on Twitter or any of my social medias that I was leaving. Mainly because I'm paranoid about someone robbing my house while I'm gone. It's really not a good idea to announce to everyone that your house is going to be empty for a couple of days. Not that anyone knows where I live, hopefully. So yeah, that's why I didn't really say anything. But I did plan on making a Q&A video to announce it. It's not like I was gone that long anyway, and I think only a couple people were like, where the hell are you at? Because I hadn't done anything on social media for a couple days. But I went to California. We rented this like house right next to the beach. It was like a 5-minute walk to the beach. It was pretty nice. And we went to Disneyland, which was kind of boring, I guess. I didn't really want to go, but I thought it'd be a nice change of pace, something to get out of the house since I've been having so many health issues this year. Because I usually skip vacation. My family always goes every year. They do something, but I don't usually ever go because I kind of like just staying at my computer all day. It's a lot of fun. I like what I do for a living, and I live every day to enjoy life to the fullest. So vacations don't really mean anything to me. Where most people don't really like their jobs, or they go to school a lot and they need a break from it all. I don't really need a break from what I do. In fact, while I was gone, I just really missed my computer for like the entire time I was gone, all 4 or 5 days. I don't remember how long we were gone for. I remember thinking on the first night, I was like, man, I am so bored. I like my family well enough, but I think if you go on vacation, it'd be a lot more fun if you went with friends or something. I still had fun, but I think I probably would have enjoyed my time a lot more if I had either brought my computer with me or if I had went with a bunch of friends. But then again, doing anything with friends is fun, so that's not really, saying much. What the hell did I even do there? I think we just went to the beach a lot because we had that beach house, and we went to Disneyland that one time. And I mainly only went to Disneyland because my niece and nephew were going to, and I just wanted to see my niece on rides because she's like 1.5, and she is super cute. That's one of the main reasons I went. I really I don't know where I'm going with that. I like my niece and nephew. They're super cute, and I wanted to see them at Disneyland and buy them stuff. So I did. But I don't think it was really worth driving all the way to California to do that and being bored for 4 days. So I probably won't go again next year. I don't really like vacation. I like what I do more than being at a beach house for 5 days. The beach was fun, though. I was really, careful about not getting sunburned because I used to work at a water park. Which means I had free tickets to that water park, and I got to go whenever I wanted to. So I was no stranger to how the sun is a deadly laser. And I wore like a shirt, like one of those, it's one of my workout shirts, really. That way I made sure I would not get sunburned because I knew the sunblock washes off in the water. I made sure to reapply it once, and then I forgot it washes off. Because I was having too much fun jumping over the waves. Man, the beach is a lot of fun if you just go out and try to jump over the waves, and my feet got really sore. But that's neither here or there. Anyways, I didn't get sunburned on my back or anything, but then my face got sunburned, and I was like, oh, this sucks. And then I went to Disneyland. I was like, I'm going to make sure to wear a hat, put sunblock on my face and my arms that are exposed, and I should be fine. I'm pretty sure my face didn't get more sunburned since I wore a hat the whole time, and neither did my arms. But my scalp did, because my hat was like one of the ones with like a whole bunch of holes in it. I don't know what best way to describe it, but it was like semi-transparent. You could see through it, and I didn't even think that the sun would go through it. It didn't even occur to me. In fact, I didn't even notice until like after I was back from Disneyland. I was like, ow, my head hurts. And I looked at my hat. I was like, oh shit. There's a whole bunch of holes in this thing. Like tiny little holes, like a sequence or something. I don't know, kind of like a loose blanket. Man, I think it'd be a lot easier if I just showed a picture on my stream, but I really don't like to edit these videos. Anyways, it's a hat I've been using for years, so I should have known that. I think it's because I've been using it for so long that I didn't even think that it's probably not good sun protection, and it's more of a, I don't know, it's a cold hat. My head got sunburned, but that's fine. And just really like peeling right now. My face peeled up a couple of days ago, and I think that's fine too. I felt like a lizard person peeling. I wonder how the government is able to hide that. Anyways, I'm back from vacation. I got sick before I left though, so I wasn't actually able to make the Q&A video to announce that I was going on vacation. But I don't think anyone really noticed. I made like 2 Yu-Gi-Oh videos before my throat got to the point where I couldn't talk. I mean, I could talk. I think I actually made those videos when I was sick, and I just like excused my voice because I'm sick. Yeah, so if I go back and watch the last 2 videos I made on my Yu-Gi-Oh channel, I can actually see what my voice sounded like when I was sick. But I didn't make videos for anything else, even though I had planned to, because I got sick right before I left. And I was still sick on vacation, but I got better like 2 days in. Which also sucked. Going on vacation while you're sick. That wasn't fun. Okay, I think that's enough of an intro. It's time to start answering questions, I guess. I also have 2 other things written down here, but I don't know why they're written down here. One of them is just Kakio. Why do I have Kakio written down here? I really wish Past Me would have written something next to it. Kakio, I don't know if you guys know who Kakio is, but he also makes WoW YouTube videos. These are way better than mine, though. but he doesn't release very often. And he's going to be doing YouTube full-time for like the next year to try it out. He opened up a Patreon and everything. But I don't know why I wrote that there. Go subscribe to him, I guess. Go donate to his Patreon, because he lives in a place where it's super expensive to live, unlike mine. And he makes good stuff. If he just like would release videos weekly at least, instead of, like once every month, he'll probably pass me pretty soon. His videos are just really good quality. And I also have Diablo written down here. I guess the Necromancer came out last week, right? Or was it 2 weeks ago now? Because I left for vacation last Thursday, and I'm reading this on Friday. Well, I played the Necromancer. It was fun. I don't really know why I wrote that down, though. I'm never going to make Diablo videos because I actually like playing the game. And I found that nothing really kind of ruins your enjoyment for a game than making videos about it. So I'm going to try to avoid doing that if all possible. Man, can you guys hear that? You see, my room is like right across the street. Ooh, shit, I probably shouldn't give you guys physical descriptions of where I live. But I'm pretty sure I said this before in a past Q&A. There's like a small little park in front of my house, and I can hear children screaming. They don't usually play there. It seems they're just playing while I decided to record. If you hear it, you hear it. I'm not going to edit it out. I'm not super strict when it comes to this video. Only going to edit out is if my dogs start barking at something, because they're both like sleeping right outside my door. Okay, now on to the questions for real this time. First question. Keep making these videos. Playing WoW or any other game while listening to this is comfy as hell. That's the intention for these videos. I really like listening to other YouTubers' Q&A videos. That's why I make these. So I enjoy them. I hope other people enjoy them the same way I do. Is just having them on in the background while you do other stuff. Next one. It's a Tumblr question. Apparently I had questions on my Tumblr that I don't really post to anymore. I'm pretty sure it's still linked to my account somewhere, though. I had no idea how to even check the anonymous question section, but I had some there, and one of them was from like a week or two ago. It says, "Hey, Hiru, you mentioned your mother was a drug addict. Could you please elaborate?" My mom was a drug addict. My dad was too, and I think he was a drug dealer. And then she ran away and did drugs until I was in 5th grade, and then she went to rehab. And then she got out, and she relapsed a couple years later with prescription pills. And then I guess she's fine now. I guess that's it for the elaboration. Having a mom as a drug addict meant I was very poor growing up. I lived in lots of really shitty apartments and stuff. I remember I had a bug catching kit to catch all the cockroaches in one of the apartments I lived in. And I filled it up. And I found out that they could actually squeeze through tiny little holes even though they were way bigger than them. So that's a fun fact about cockroaches. They can squeeze through really small spaces if you're wondering how they get inside. I was surprised by that, so I just stopped trying to catch them because they couldn't fit in my bug catcher. That's super gross thinking back on it, because there's no way I can do that now, because cockroaches are gross as shit. I also moved to a new school every year until I was in high school. So, I think it was until 8th grade I went to a new school. So I went to 8 different schools until 8th grade, and then I went to high school after that. And I didn't move again until my senior year, but I could just drive to school after that. So, drug addict parents, you move around a lot, and you're super poor. And it makes you appreciate the welfare system, because welfare meant we got to eat food. I had to take advantage of a lot of social programs and charities. Social programs and charities are what, just gave us food. That's probably one of the biggest things. Also a place to live, too, when my mom got out of rehab. So I can never really be against social programs or charities because I was a direct benefiter. I don't think that's the right word for it. Benefactor. I benefited from charities and social programs as a child greatly. Next question. I always love these. Grats on 100k subs, Hiru. You're my favorite WoW facts guy. Hope you feel better soon. That's a good way to describe me. WoW facts. Actually, yeah, that's a pretty good way. I make lots of WoW facts videos. Even the top 10, which are definitely the most popular thing on my channel. Even those are kind of just WoW facts, thinly disguised as a list. Which one am I making next, actually? I put it up on Patreon to be voted on. And I think the one with the most votes was the top 10 super important lore figures that are just random quest mob NPCs. I think it has a better name than that in the title. But yeah, that one has the most votes right now, so that'll probably be the next top 10. Next question. Don't do a face reveal. I agree with what you're saying about it. I've watched many YouTubers who I've had to stop watching because of their face. If you do, a warning would be nice, right? I don't like those either. I remember very recently, this one guy I watch a lot, he did just a random face reveal in like an announcement video he was doing. And I was like, oh my god, why would you do that? There was no indication that you were doing a face reveal on the thumbnail of the video. It was just a normal video, and then all of a sudden you can see his face. And I was like, you look nothing like your voice. I've never, ever seen someone who did a face reveal. And I was like, oh wow, you look exactly what your voice led me to believe. No, never. It's always like a huge surprise. Like, oh, well, I guess that's what you look like. I mean, you're not like ugly or anything. It's just you look nothing like what I imagined you to. It's always so disappointing because every time you hear him from now on, all you can do is think of how their face was nothing like what you thought. Yeah, that's why I won't do a face reveal. Even though I'll get asked this question every single Q&A until I probably die or stop making videos, whichever comes first. Alright, next question. Can you make a video about the history of ores? I don't know. Is there even a history of ores? I'm trying to think, like, what could be said about ores? There has to be at least, like, one interesting thing about it. This is probably in relation to my mailbox video, where I made an entire video about, like, the history of mailboxes, and that's because I had an interesting piece of information for that. I forgot what it was, but I wrote it down, and I usually write down ideas if I think there can be a video made for them, and I have so many ideas that I'll never, ever catch up. It's just going to keep growing bigger and bigger. That's why I always find it funny when I get comments like, have you run out of ideas? It's like, no, I haven't. I have so many ideas. It's insane. It's just some of them are weird. It's a weird idea. It doesn't mean I'm out of ideas. If anything, these videos are harder to make than the ones that are more standard and more I think I described that with standard already. I don't need to keep going on in that. Anyways, history of ores. Off the top of my head, I can't really think of anything interesting about them. Other than the fact that you can mine them at any level, no? Maybe, if there's something to talk about. If there's like literally nothing interesting to talk about that people might not have known, then I don't see how that would make a good video. But I'd have to look into it. If you can go anywhere in the world for free, where? You can't say your room. Well, considering I just went on vacation to the beach in Disneyland for a couple of days, and I was bored pretty much constantly. Man, I really missed my computer so bad. I don't even know if I would want to go anywhere, to be honest, unless I went with a friend as well. Because going by myself just doesn't seem... I mean, unless I brought a computer too. In which case, where would I want to go? Where I wasn't bored out of my mind during my downtime. Let's see, probably Japan, just to see it, to try it out. Probably not for very long. You know, just because I watch a ton of anime. I think it would be nice just to check it out. But I don't speak Japanese, so that doesn't really seem like a good country to go to if you don't know anything about their language. Preferably a language where they speak English, or if I have someone to translate everything for me. Actually, how do people travel to other countries where they don't know the language? It seems like it'd be a huge pain in the ass to go everywhere or to buy things from people. Well, whatever. Next question. I was somewhat tired when I asked my questions in your last Q&A video, so accept my apologies for my momentary lack of grammar. You don't have to say my name. It's French-Canadian, and Americans usually butcher it trying to say it. But if you have to refer to me, even though I recognize immediately when you're reading my questions, call me Toho. It's the online nickname I go by, and it simplifies things for me. I don't want your top 10s for the hook, but out of genuine interest at what kind of thing you dig up and the connections you make between two unrelated things. My question is this: which top X list you made had the most fun researching? I personally like the top 10 questions in Vanilla WoW. I don't think that was a video I made. I kind of like how you go from one thing into a different, semi-related thing. Makes it fun and unexpected for rambling, specifically going from what entertained you to your drawing classes. What kind of pet would you like to have if money was not an issue? What 3 anime are your favorites and why? I like Ghost in the Shell, Standalone Complex, Season 1, Trigon, and Escaflowne myself. The kind of anime that makes you think what the future could be like or immerse you into... Oh wait, why is there a pause here? Let me fix that. Okay. The kind of anime that makes you think what the future could be like or immerse you into the world they've created. Or some of the best ones I can draw a lot of enjoyment out of them. Okay, this seems like a multi-part question. Obviously. So, I think the first one is... I need to make a top 10 vanilla questions video. I should put that on my list. I kind of like how... Oh, what's your favorite top 10 list to research? Researching is like the worst part of the video. It sucks. I mean, it's like interesting at first when you get the idea, but then when you actually start researching for it, it's like doing any other research topic you would for like a college class or something. You have to go around everywhere and make sure your facts are correct, because people will make sure to tell you all of the little things you get wrong, even if it's just like a nuance. I remember in the video I made very recently, like the first WoW news video I did, I said... Shoot, what did I say? It was something about the BC time walking. Oh, right, on how to get the appearance for your glaives. I said you just need to have the glaives and then go in and do the Burning Crusade time walking on your Demon Hunter, and you'll get the appearance. And I had a couple of people say, oh, you have to have the glaives on a character that you can equip them with, and then go in on a Demon Hunter and you can get the appearance. You can't just have the glaives. And I was like, oh, I guess that is a nuance. It's like a very specific thing. It's like, oh, I didn't even think people would have the glaives on characters who couldn't use them. I also didn't know that didn't work, that you had to have them equipped, because I have them equipped on my rogue. So I thought, oh, I mean, I guess if people were farming it out by themselves for other transmog sets on characters who can't use them, I can understand that. I can understand why they'd have both of them, and that would be the distinction they'd make. Like, oh, you need to be able to equip them. But then I had someone else like mention that as a flaw in it. Like, oh, I can't believe you messed up the glaives part. It's like, that's such a small, minor thing. You guys get really hung up on tiny things like that. And that's what I always think about when I'm researching them, because I know if you get anything wrong, people are going to use that as an example of why the video is terrible, as like of course the video is garbage because you got so many things wrong, and the things you get wrong will probably just be, you know, small like little nuances like that, tiny little things that I guess are technically wrong, but not really. I mean, I'm not going to go into specifics about everything, and that's what people get mad about. I have to make the video like flow. I can't just go super specific and like stop every 2 seconds to be like, oh, but sometimes this fact is probably not true because of this one time that it happened, or maybe this stupid glitch that made sure that this statement, I can't say all abilities work like that. I should say all abilities kind of work like this, except for this one time in this one patch 10 years ago in a PTR. So technically the statement isn't correct. Things like that. I have to watch out for stuff like that. So researching a video isn't very fun. That being said, probably the top 10 morally questionable quests. That one was fun to research. Because I didn't know perfidy was a war crime. I'm not sure if that's how you say it, because I learned that word during that video too. Perfidy, I'm pretty sure I'm saying it wrong, is the crime in which you pretend to surrender in order to gain a military advantage. It's technically a war crime, and that was one of the quests where you had to pretend to be part of the Murlocs in order to get to their leader without issue, that way you could kill them. You technically commit a war crime in that one, and then I had people in the comments be like, well, I mean, they're Murlocs, so it doesn't matter. And I was like, you see, you people are morally questionable as well. Also, people arguing the nuances of whether or not that was actually a war crime or not. I was like, ugh. You guys complain about everything. It doesn't really bother me as much as I'm probably making it seem, since I went off on like a little rant about it. It's just something I do have to be aware of. Okay, so whatchamacallit. It also reminds me, in the last video I made, like 11 things that were added after vanilla but removed before Legion. And I had like this very long segment in it where I talked about various stats that were added after vanilla WoW and then removed before Legion. And one of them I talked about was MP5, because apparently MP5 was on gear in vanilla. It was like one of those random stats that hardly ever showed up. And it became more prevalent in the Burning Crusade. Now, where I was researching stuff, the thing I saw, the thing where I got the information from, I'm not going to actually say what it is, because I don't want you guys to steal my information centers, but it said NP5 was added in the Burning Crusade. So I believed it, obviously, because why would it be wrong if it's right about everything else? It happened to be wrong in this specific case. And I remember people who didn't like the video were using that heavily as a reason of why the video was wrong. Even though that was just one part of a section and it wasn't even the whole thing. I got that wrong because the information I got was wrong, so that's what I got to be careful about. But it wasn't a big deal, and people were treating it like it was a much bigger deal than it really was. So I made like a little thing in the comments. It was like, hey, it's technically MP5 was in vanilla, so it shouldn't be on the list. And that didn't really do anything. The best thing to do for those kinds of comments is just to ignore them. Don't give them good reinforcement. It's like giving a toddler attention when they're throwing a tantrum. You don't want to reward negative behavior. That's why I try not to reply to negative comments if I can help it. Because I feel like if I was going to reply to everything that got a reaction out of me, I'd probably reply to negative comments way more than positive ones. And I always got to remember, don't reward negative behavior. So I don't. Don't reward negative behavior with attention, obviously. Next question. What kind of pet would you like to have if money was not an issue? A dinosaur. What 3 anime are your favorites and why? I have my anime list opened up right here. It looks like I have a lot of them with 10s. So there's NHK ni Yokosu, or Welcome to the NHK. Oh, that one is so good. Welcome to the NHK. I'll say totally that's one of them. I always forget about that one, even though I've watched it like 5 times, and it's like the only anime I own in like a physical box set. I liked it so much I actually bought it, which I haven't done for anything else. It was pretty cheap though. It was like $20 for the DVD box set, and it was like 24 episodes. It was a pretty good deal. And then there's Kami no Mi no Shiru Sekai, or more commonly known as The World God Only Knows. That's really good, like surprisingly good. If you read the synopsis for it, it sounds... Here, let me read it for you. It sounds so dumb. Like, this is the most garbage anime ever, but it's actually, like, one of the best. Keima Katsuragi, known online as the legendary god of conquest, can conquer any girl's heart, in dating sim games at least. In reality, he opts for two-dimensional world of gaming over real life because he has an unhealthy obsession otaku of gal games, a type of Japanese video game centered on interactions with attractive girls. Whew. Oh man, reading in my fake voice really tires me out. When he arrogantly accepts an anonymous offer. Okay, my throat actually kind of hurts. Oh man, I had to get a drink of water. It's because I've already been talking for half an hour, and then I all of a sudden started using my fake YouTube voice. Whew, I wasn't prepared for that. Anyways, let's continue it. When he arrogantly accepts an anonymous offer to prove his supremacy at dating sim games, Keima is misled into aiding a naive and impish demon from hell named Elsie de Lutima with her mission, retrieving runaway evil spirits who have escaped from hell and scattered themselves throughout the human world. Keima discovers that the only way to capture these spirits is to conquer what he hates the most, the unpredictable hearts of three-dimensional girls. Shackled to Elsie via a deadly collar, Keima now has his title of God of Conquest, put to the ultimate test as he is forced to navigate through the hearts of a multitude of real-life girls. It sounds so dumb. Mind you, this is like one of my favorite animes ever, because it's legitimately really good, especially the third season. Oh, the third season's so good. That's like the only time I've ever cried while watching an anime from something that wasn't sad because a character... No, wait, what's the best way to describe it? It's the only time I've cried while watching an anime in which a character doesn't die. Because something sad happens in there. Oh man, the feeling just came back. It's not like Your Lie in April, where like the girl dies in the end. Something else happens, completely different, very unique too, and it was just super sad. Luckily, it has a much happier ending in the manga, but the whole series is just so good. It's not a sad series; it's actually a comedy. I love comedies. Comedies are my favorite. But it gets serious in the third season. It still stays kind of comedic, but the story just gets a lot better. They also skip a lot to go to the third season, and I'm really sad that it didn't sell well. Like, the studio who made it actually shut down, like, a couple years ago, because a lot of the things they made didn't do very well, and sadly, The World God Only Knows was one of them, but I can't really blame them because it sounds terrible based on its description. But it's actually really well made. And the main character is like one of my favorite main characters. He is such an asshole and doesn't care about anything, but he is super competent at what he does. Which is very refreshing main character besides the wimpy main protagonist who everybody loves for no reason. This guy is actually legitimately I wouldn't say he's cool, but I love his personality. It's very unique. Okay. So, where am I at? I must have scrolled down on my list. Okay. So, those are two of my favorites, and I guess the third one would probably be Maho Shoujo Madoka Magica, or just Madoka Magica. It's a magical girl anime with a twist where it's actually really dark. And it's also super good. I guess those three would be it. But I also really like Steins Gate. I also really like Hunter x Hunter. I also really like Danshin Kosei no Nichijou, or The Daily Lives of High School Boys. In fact, in the show notes I have right here on my list, it says, funniest show I've ever watched. Oh yeah, that's true. I kind of want to rewatch it. But I don't know if it's actually streamed on anything. Watch episode video? Is it on here? And then there's also Monogatari. Oh, Monogatari is so good. Sakamichi no Apollo, or Kids on a Slope. That is just a super solid drama. A coming-to-age story. Really good. My High School Comedy is Not What I Expected. Oh god, that's so good too. Shingeki no Kyojin. Why don't they have English names on here? Attack on Titan. That's good, but that's also super popular. Golden Time. Oh, that's the best romance I've ever seen. Golden Time. It was made by the same person who made Toradora. I know I'm losing a lot of you people who don't care about anime right now. I'm almost done. Ping Pong the animation, the best sports anime. But it's more of a coming-to-age drama story than it is about sports. And anyway, I kind of like Haikyuu better as this pure sports anime. And Barakamon, oh, that's just a good slice of life. And then I have One Punch Man on here as my last number 10. I have 24 series on this list, given a 10 out of 10. But then again, this anime list likes to separate things by seasons. So I gave all 3 seasons of The World God Only Knows a 10 out of 10. So it takes up 3 of the things, and then Monogatari has like 5 seasons. Then I have Fate Zero, second season. That's really good too. And then I have Monster at a 9 out of 10. Yeah, Monster 9 out of 10. I guess it's because I read that such a long time ago. Okay, that's it for this. Man, I really want to update this. I haven't updated this in forever. But I don't think my top 10 has really changed very much. Haruhi Suzumiya, 10 out of 10. Haruhi Suzumiya is really good too. Okay, next question. After marathoning your Q&A videos and hearing you love the Zoids game, have you ever played Custom Robo Arena? It's a game for the DS all about arena robot battles and customization. I played it for the GameCube. Whenever I used to still rent games from Blockbuster for my GameCube, I rented the Zoids game once, and that's when I fell in love with the game, and it's probably the perfect game, best game I've ever played. Man, I love that game so much. I really wish they made another one. But Custom Robo was also another game they had there that I tried out. I didn't like it as much. It was neat. It just wasn't as good as Zoids. So I haven't really played it for the DS either. But yeah, you're right. It is kind of like Zoids. I just like Zoids better. Next one. Which one of this anime characters would you prefer to be as God? In the meaning of the one character that decides the fate of all things on the planet. Sora from No Game No Life, Meruem from Hunter x Hunter, or Yato from Noragami. So I have seen all the animes they're from. The English on this isn't perfect, but that's fine. I understand what you're getting at. Let's see. Which character would you prefer to be God out of Sora, Meruem, and Yato? Meruem is definitely my favorite character out of the list, because Meruem from Hunter x Hunter, or the King, the Chimera Ant King, he's like my favorite villain ever. He's so good. I actually cried when he died at the end of the arc, because I just loved him so much. And it was such a sad scene, too. I gotta make sure not to try to think about it too much, otherwise I won't be able to read the rest of this. Sora from No Game No Life, he's a fun character. I feel like he wouldn't make a good god, though. And Yato from Noragami, he's already a god. That's his whole thing. But he also wouldn't make a good god either. But neither would Meruem. He was a bad guy for a reason. You wouldn't want him to be a god either. I guess out of all of them, Sora would probably be the coolest just because he's a gamer. But Yato, he's already a god. But he's just not really a major one. He's just the god of vengeance or something like that. Next question. I'm curious about your computer. I just like computer and computer related stuff. Can you list your specs off? Nope. I don't know what's in my computer. I'm very computer illiterate. Not because I'm like, oh, I don't know anything about computers and I'm going to brag about it. It's because I've tried to learn and I just find everything about it so boring. It is ridiculously boring. I remember when I was still thinking about what I wanted to do for the rest of my life, or what I wanted to go to college for, I thought, hey, I love to play video games on the computer. I'm a computer gamer, PC gamer. That's what it's called. Computer gamer sounds weird. So anyways, I tried to learn more about computers, just to read up on it, because that's what I did for everything else I was interested in. And the more I read up on it, the more I thought, wow, this shit is just super boring. And I tried reading up about how to code and everything. And I was like, I suck ass at typing. I can't do this. And it's also boring. I just find everything about it ridiculously boring. That being said, I do need to upgrade it again. I had just had a friend who actually knows about computers do it for me. he just ordered all the parts, and I just paid for him, and then I took him to his house, and he put it together for me. And then I bought him lunch. And that was a good trade-off for us. For me. I don't know why I'm saying us. I totally got the better end of that deal. So I'm not really sure what's in it, but I should probably upgrade it, because editing takes up a lot of computing power. I don't know what it's called, though. But I think I need something better, because I don't know, I think I do fine enough, but I really just want more. That way I can render out faster, and so I can look at stuff in the preview for After Effects without having to worry about it crashing. It doesn't crash often. It does crash sometimes, like maybe once every 10 times I use it, which is not half bad. Same thing for Sony Vegas, but I think I just need to upgrade to the newest version, and that'll probably fix that problem, since that fixed it from when I upgraded from 12 to 13. But I think I should also probably upgrade my whatever makes WoW and streaming look better, because I've noticed that when I try to record like panning shots, you know, like the cinematic views of buildings and stuff, it like pitter patters, and I was like, ugh, I don't like that. I need to do something to upgrade that, or to upgrade it so I can actually record and everything in 60 frames per second and render it out without having to worry about the Sony Vegas crashing. That was a lot of talking without taking a breath. Okay, so can you list off your specs? I don't really know, so probably not. Next question. I'm more of an ass man. Finally, a WoW YouTuber I can get behind. Not really a question, I just thought that was a very appropriate thing to read out loud. Jesus, man, how are you still alive, Hiru? You seem to have a shit ton of really random stomach and chest problems. I hope you get better. My question for the next Q&A would be, how have you been holding up? Also, I live on my desk as well. How has using a standing desk changed your life? What's better, what's worse? Well, I've had a whole bunch of health problems, but you have to remember, or what I have to keep reminding myself, is that they're all very minor things. I've been to the doctors, and they ruled out everything major. Like, I still have the problems, I still have chest pains, and I still have the pains in my sides, but they're nothing like what they were when the symptoms first came. The pains in my sides, I don't even have them today, which is great. I think I might have had some like 2 days ago. But I like how they just kind of come and go. When they do come, it's like very minor. Like, I can probably just completely ignore it. The chest problems are a little bit more annoying, because it's really hard to tell myself, ugh, it's just acting up a little bit again, and it won't be feeling, I'll feel fine again tomorrow. Because there's something about when your chest hurts that triggers some kind of primal response of, there's something wrong with you. And I have to keep reminding myself, nope, it's like a muscle thing, it's fine, and I have it under control. And my kinds of chest pains can last for years and still be perfectly normal and like healthy. It's just something you have to live with, and hopefully it'll go away eventually. So I've only had it for like 2 months now, and it's definitely like miles better than what it used to be before I got the standing desk and my back pod. But I think it's mainly my back pod that helped it out the most. So if you ever find out you have costochondritis, chest pains, look into getting a back pod, because that helped out a lot. I'm still not better, and I still have to use it like, I don't know, 3 or 5 times a day. But I feel a lot better after I use it. It really stretches the hell out of my back, and I really gotta learn how to have more proper posture, because I still slouch all the time. I didn't think posture would do this to me. I should also probably start going running again. I started working out as soon as I started having chest pains, and I thought, oh, I would go running again once it got better. And it's probably not going to get better, but running shouldn't affect my chest pains like at all. So I should probably do that again. Kind of like how when I first had the chest pains, I did a 20-minute intense workout on my treadmill. I hate running on the treadmill. The treadmill's terrible. I only have it because in the summers in Arizona, it's too hot outside to go running. Like, during the day. Even at night, it's still like 90 degrees outside. But I don't go run at night because I was attacked on a run at night. So I don't do that anymore. So I can only go during the day, and I don't wake up early. I just don't because I hate waking up early, so I'm not going to. And during the day, it's too hot. I remember like last summer, I tried to keep up with my 3-mile-a-day run. So I was like, oh man, it's super hot. I think I might have gotten heat stroke last time I did it. This time, I'll bring a water bottle with me. So I have like a mini fridge in my room that's full of nothing but water bottles and Kool-Aid jammers. Because I don't know if you guys know what Kool-Aid jammers are. It's kind of like Capri Sun packets, except there's like little things of Kool-Aid in them instead. Because when I edit, the best way to give your brain what it wants to edit, like brain food, or if you're studying or something, is to give it sugar. Like if you're doing any kind of activity which requires a lot of brain power, like editing or doing, hours of studying, anything where you have to use your brain a lot, the best thing for it is to give yourself just pure sugar. And what's more pure sugar than like sugar flavored water? The Kool-Aid jammers. So I just have those in there for when I edit. I think the one I bought it last time, because they come like in a pack of 12, and I think I bought that one like a couple of weeks ago. So they last a long time because I only do them when I edit, and not every time I edit. Just if I'm editing for like 8 hours a day, I'll probably have one or two. Or if I just want something sweet. So I have a thing of Kool-Aid jammers in there because it's like one of the few things I can have, and it's also pretty much just like pure sugar, and that's what I need. Other than that, just a whole bunch of water bottles in there. I know that was on a little tangent right there, but all that to say is I have a mini fridge full of water bottles, and I took one with me on my run, and I was like, I'll just down this on my halfway point. So when I got to the halfway point, as I was running, I was like, oh shit, this is actually like super cold. I hope I don't get frostbite on my hand from holding this water bottle, because I didn't have anything to like, hold it on my back or something. I don't know. How the hell would you hold a water bottle when you're running? I just held it in my hand, and it was super cold. And when I got to the halfway point to drink it, the water was hot. Not like room temperature or warm. It was just straight up hot. And I was like, oh my god. I'm only at the halfway point, and I was afraid this was going to be too cold for my hand when I first started. This isn't good. So I stopped. I kind of just stopped running the full thing, and I just did like a really short one if I did go running. So I bought a treadmill this year. That way, if the weather was ever to a point where I couldn't go running outside, like if it was raining or if it's just summer, because it's over 100 degrees all day until nighttime when it's only 90. Yeah, that's what the treadmill's for. I don't know if there was a question about it. Why did I start talking about my treadmill? Oh, because that's saying how I don't work out. I haven't gone running in a while. Like 2 months. Because I was waiting for my chest to get better. It's not better, but I should probably start that up again. It's so much more fun not going running, though. Because that was kind of a pain in the ass to do in the morning. Next question. How are you still alive? How have you been holding up? Also, I live at my desk as well. How has using a standing desk changed your life? What's better? What's worse? Okay, so there actually are some pros to a standing desk that I didn't think I would like, as opposed to cons. Obviously, there's lots of cons, like standing all day. That's a big con. I don't actually stand all day, because mine's one of the adjustable ones where you can just push it back down to a sitting one. In which case, it's just kind of a little bit higher than normal desk. But that's fine. I think of it as like a punishment for sitting down, and it's not really that bad. But for standing, what I found is it's a lot easier to record, because standing up, I have bad posture, as I probably talked about before. So slouching over into my mic would actually kind of tire me out a little bit quicker. And standing up straight, it makes it a lot easier. It actually feels a lot more comfortable to stand up and record, like I'm standing right now. And I guess that's it. It's more fun to sit down and do stuff, but it's not uncomfortable to play video games and everything. I just kind of notice that my feet kind of get tired after standing for so long. in which case I'll sit on a stool or I'll convert it back to a regular desk and I'll just sit down. And also another plus to it is that standing a lot tires you out. So when you lay down, it feels great. And going to sleep at night is no problem at all. I just basically pass out because I've been standing for a long time all day. And it's fun to be able to just go to sleep as soon as you lay down. It's almost like I'm back in high school when I was working out all the time and I was constantly tired. Oh god, that was awful. Next question. Can someone answer this question? Is hirumaredx and Crucial the same person? Yes. Next question. I like your Warcraft minis because they're quick, but not too quick, and just random. Yeah. Basically, that series was a surprise success. I'm super surprised that it worked out as well as it did. Because I remember I had the idea for it because I had like a list of just like random ass WoW facts that couldn't really fit into a video idea I had. I was like, I don't really know how to put these into a video. These are really interesting like trivia pieces about WoW. But I can't really think of a video in which I could talk about them because they're all not related to each other and kind of random. And I was like, you know what, if I just expanded on these points a little bit more, I could probably just turn them into their own little videos, and that's what I tried to do. And the very first one I made was super successful. And it's still the most viewed Warcraft mini fact. It's the one with Tyrion Court at Vol'jin's funeral. Because I had recently just read the book. Well, I read like halfway through it and then I got bored. Because it was a book about... I forget what it's called, but it's Vol'jin after he gets assassinated, or he survives his attempted assassination by Garrosh. And I thought the book would be about him recovering and then starting his rebellion and planning it all out. And I was like, ooh, this is going to be good. But the book was actually about his time at the monastery only. It has nothing to do with the rebellion, other than they just kind of mention it. But it all happens before he starts the rebellion, but after he gets almost assassinated by Garrosh. It's like in between that, and I was super disappointed because I just wanted to see, like in book format, what happened with the rebellion. Because I remember I had read the book, Tides of something, Tides of War, Tides of Darkness. I don't remember. It's the Jaina book, though, the one where Jaina's city gets bombed, and that one was really good. It had a lot of like point of view characters from major lore characters, and you got to see how they thought about certain situations. Whenever they talked about other leaders, you got to hear their opinion on them, and I was like, ooh, this is so good. And so I thought the Vol'jin book would be like that, and it wasn't. It was just like a standalone book that happened with the monastery and his friendship with Tyrion Court, and it was super like melodramatic and like old timey monk movies, you know, where like they have an old master who says super vague things and they're supposed to be super wise. There was a lot of that bullshit. I hate those tropes where they say something super vague or they give a prophecy and everyone's like, ooh, what does that mean? And then it happens later on and like, oh, I understand now. No, he just said vague bullshit. It doesn't mean anything. It's just a literary device. It means something because the author decided it would later. It's still vague. He should have just given him the information. I hate that element of storytelling. The book was full of it. But the Tyrion Court character was interesting, and that's what I kept writing about it. Because I was like, oh, this random human guy, he actually had a pretty interesting backstory. And then when I saw that he was in Warcraft, because I remember I looked and I was like, I wonder if he appeared in game afterwards, because I know he was created for the game. I was like, or maybe he wasn't, or maybe he did appear in Mist of Pandaria and I just never saw him. And I looked him up and I was like, oh, he appeared at the funeral? I didn't know that. I'll make a video about this. Or I'll include it in the video. And instead I just made the entire video about it and it did very well. I was like, oh, cool. Well, I didn't actually read the entire book. I read like a quarter of it. But the book was really long. And it had so much fantasy storytelling elements that I'm not a fan of. I like fantasy books, I like sci-fi. I'm a huge fan of sci-fi and fantasy. But there are tropes in both of them that I don't like. And vague prophecy bullshit is one of them, and that book was full of it. Because Taran Zu just loves to spout his bullshit philosophy about stupid shit. Okay, next question. I gotta find it first. I was talking about stupid Taran Zu. By the sound of it, I think I may have the same kind of chest pain. My posture is often incredibly bad. You might need to buy a back pod. Back pods are like $90. They're expensive as shit. But it works. Make sure you do it correctly too. I didn't know I was doing it wrong until my chest started hurting a lot more, and I was like, oh, I have the back pod and standing desk. It shouldn't be hurting anymore. So I looked up a video on someone else doing it, and he's like, here's how I do it. He was like doing the shit out of it. Like what I was doing, because the instructions said like put down 3 pillows and then lay down on it and like kind of move your body around on it a little bit, put your arms behind your head, and your body weight should just naturally stretch your back out on top of the back pod. And over time, you can remove some of the pillows until you're flexible enough to lay on it without any. And then I saw a video of like some bodybuilder, because lifting weights is like one of the most common ways to get costochondritis. And he's like, here's how I use my back pod. He put it down. He's like doing sit-ups on top of it. I was like, holy shit. I was like laying down on it and it was hurting. This guy is doing all this crazy shit on it. I was like, man, I haven't been doing this correctly. So I tried that out too, and I started feeling better like almost immediately. It's crazy. So yeah, if you're having problems with it, get a back pod. I highly recommend it. Even though they're expensive. They're $90, and it's just like a piece of... Literally just like look up what a back pod is, and then you'll be surprised at how expensive it is. But I was willing to try anything, so... as soon as I found out about it, I bought it. Like with no second guesses. I also bought the standing desk too. As soon as I found out that posture might be a problem, I was like, yeah, I have bad posture. I'm going to buy both a standing desk, everything for a standing desk, and the back pod. I'll just buy anything to make the pain go away. And it worked. I still have pain, but it's super minor in comparison to what it used to be. And even back then, it was still kind of minor. It's just, it wasn't as minor as it is now. Okay. Where is the next question? I gotta stop saying next question. IBS is triggered with different foods and different people. Its list of commonly known foods to cause it does not mean all of them do. Best thing to do is test things and keep note of what you eat, and if you get IBS after, you can start to narrow the list down of foods which cause your IBS. The way you figure out what foods you can eat and what you can't, it's much better than just avoiding every food that could cause your IBS. Okay, yeah. I know, that's like one of the very first things they talk about when they have the food chart, is that it's not for everyone, and that it's mainly just a starting off point to avoid all these foods and then slowly reintroduce them. To see if they're a trigger for you or not. I have been doing that. I've still been experimenting with it. But, like, the experimenting is kind of weird because I can have breads. Because, like, one of the big things is, like, no wheat or bread. Maybe a little bit of white bread, because that's not, like, real bread. But definitely avoid things with wheat in them. And the thing is, I can eat bread fine. But if I eat pizza... that's a big no-no. But then again, pizza, what I didn't really think about until like way later is that the pizza sauce itself. Pizza sauce is basically just tomatoes and garlic. And garlic is one of the big no foods for IBS. Garlic and onions. Which is in like everything. And I thought, oh, maybe it wasn't really the bread, but the pizza sauce. So I bought gluten-free pizza. And I can eat that just fine. So it's not the pizza sauce. But I can have bread too. But maybe it's because too much bread? Or maybe it was pepperonis, because you can't have sausages. And sausages are definitely one of the things that trigger it. So no sausages or hot dogs. So maybe it was just the pepperoni on the pizza. Like pizza itself, everything about it is just so IBS unfriendly, because you can have dairy, but not a lot. and pizza is just a ton of cheese on it. You can't have sausages, which means no pepperonis. You really shouldn't have wheat or too much bread, and pizza is basically just bread on cheese. And no garlic, and pizza sauce is basically just tomatoes and garlic. So almost everything about pizza is just so IBS unfriendly. But I've slowly figured out that bread isn't really that big a deal as long as I don't have too much of it. Cheese isn't a big deal, like at all. Garlic, I don't know. I still avoid garlic. But when I had the gluten-free pizza, I was fine. Gluten-free pizza, for those of you who are probably thinking, wow, that sounds gross, it tastes just like flatbread pizza. Not flatbread pizza, thin crust pizza. It's pretty good. I would recommend it if you can't have gluten and you want to have pizza. Gluten-free pizza is good. It's not like, it's okay, I guess. No, it's actually basically just thin crust pizza. It's good. It's expensive though. It's like $16 for a small pizza. But it tastes good. I'd recommend it. And yeah, it's kind of weird. I'm still experimenting with stuff. But yeah, I probably should have said that last time. It's like I was talking about everything that's on the list, but that doesn't mean I can't have everything on the list. I know ice cream doesn't sit well with me either, but I can have cheese no problem. So it's weird, like what works and what doesn't. Maybe too much ice cream. I had like a little bit of ice cream and I was fine when I was on vacation. Maybe it's because I had too much ice cream that one time, because you can have small amounts of some foods without any negative reactions. So you gotta worry about that too. Like, how much of it can you have before it's a problem? Okay, so next thing. Can you tell about your university years? And also, what is studying psychology in America like? My university years. I first went to school like a year after high school ended because I took a year off just to play World of Warcraft. Best year of my life, hands down. So much fun. Highly would recommend just playing WoW all week and then going to work on the weekends and the part-time job. That was great. Nothing's ever been that fun before. And then I went back to school for a couple of classes because I was like, I want to do stuff with computers, so I'm going to take a whole bunch of computer classes. So I took like Flash and HTML, and I don't remember what else I took. I took a math class and an English class. The English class, that's the one where I wrote the paper about Kyle from work. And then I ended up dropping out of the class because it was early. And the teacher kept having me read my essays to the class every time we wrote anything because she thought I was good at them. I was like, I really don't want to read every single essay. I'm fine doing it like once or twice, but literally every single one I write, I'm going to have to start writing these with the notion that I'm going to be reading them out loud, which is a pain in the ass. So I dropped out of that, and I passed the math class, and I think I failed the other ones. And I think I passed the Flash class too. I think I only failed HTML because that was bullshit. They changed the date on the final, and I went to school, and at the time that they told us to go for the final, and no one was there. And then I find out later that there was like a Canvas thing online that you had to check, and apparently it was changed there, even though it wasn't an online class. They had changed it there, and I didn't show up, so I was just dropped from the class. Like, no matter, even though I did everything else in the class, the fact that I missed the final, they just dropped me. They didn't even like give me an F or anything. I was like, I didn't know you could do that. That's so stupid. And I didn't do anything about it because I didn't care. And then I dropped out of school for like a year or two, and then I went back. And I was like, I'm going to do psychology because that's the only thing I like to study on my own in my free time. I've been reading psychology books for fun for years. And I was like, I should probably just go for that. Because the reason I didn't go in the first place was because I thought, oh, psychology, you can't get jobs in psychology. I should go for something where I can get a job. I don't want to waste my time at school. And then later on, I thought, I should just get a degree because I don't really care anymore about getting a job or going to school for that because I don't like anything. So I'll just go for what I like. So I went for psychology, and all the psychology classes I took were a lot of fun. I'd really recommend people taking a cultural psychology class because that class really changed my mind about a lot of things and how I view the world. And I think if more people took cultural psychology, they would have a better understanding on how the world works. It was really good. I think like one of the biggest things you can really use to show how big culture influences you as a person is like the myth of common sense. A very common question is, okay, so say you're stuck in a flood and you only have enough room on your raft for one person, and you have to decide very quickly because your mom and your child are both coming towards you. You only have enough time to save one of them, and only one of them will fit on your raft. Which one do you save? Now, this question is answered as a like, oh, well, obviously you would save blank in like two completely different ways. If you're from a Western country with Western ideals, you'll say, well, obviously you'd save the child because, you know, he's still a little kid and he has his whole life ahead of him, and your mom is probably, you know, much older and more lived, and he's probably not going to miss out on much. If you ask this question to an Eastern country, like Asia or the Middle East, they'd say, well, obviously you'd save your mom because you can always have another kid, but you only have one mother. And that's like, really? So that's what they think over there. And they'd probably think, well, you're stupid because it's obvious you'd save your mom. And that's like one of the big things, like how common sense isn't really common. It's actually cultural. And I was like, oh, I never thought of it like that. And the class is just full of stuff like that. It's so interesting. I loved cultural psychology. All the psychology classes I took were great. The bad thing about school is that you take so many classes that have nothing to do with your major. I hated it. It's because I understand why they do it. If you go to college, it's basically to show that you know what you're doing, and they want you to be a well-rounded person. So you have to take all of these different classes to become a well-rounded person, because it's nice to have many different experiences. But my God, so many stupid classes you had to take, like Japanese or math classes. I hated it. I hate school. School's the worst. But the psychology classes were fun. I got A's in all those because it was easy, and I really enjoyed what I was doing. But everything else sucked ass. And the only reason I stopped going was because I wanted to focus on YouTube. I was like, I have to retake my Japanese class because I failed. I found out like very late on that I needed to take a foreign language class. And I needed to take 4 semesters of it, which is 2 years. And I was like already almost done with all of my other prereqs. It's like, okay, I'll take Japanese, I guess, because I watch lots of anime, so why not? And that was a terrible decision. The first year of it, the first semester, Japanese 101, not so bad. I thought it was kind of hard, but I was able to get through it, and I passed with like a C. And then Japanese 102, it was a lot harder, but I was able to pass it, kind of, I think, with a C. Now that I think about it, I'm not sure if I actually passed 102. And then I took 103, and I was just so far behind. I couldn't do it. I sucked. It was so hard. It was the hardest thing I've ever done, and it was so boring. I couldn't stand it. Japanese is a terrible language. It's a garbage language. It's like one of the hardest languages to learn in the world. And it's so stupid, and I don't recommend anyone trying to learn it. I should have just picked Spanish. Spanish is so much easier. I took Spanish in high school, and I thought it was hard then. That's nothing compared to Japanese. It's baby language. English is a baby language compared to the garbage that's Japanese. So I failed. Well, I got a D, but a D isn't a passing grade. So I'd have to take the class again, or start over in another language. I was like, and I have to do these before I could transfer to a real university because I was at a community college. And I was like, do I really want to just keep going to school for 2 more years for a stupid language credit? Or try to see if I can get YouTube to work and not have to worry about this stupid bullshit. So I did that, and YouTube worked out just fine, and now I'm making more than enough money to live off of with it. but I still kind of want to get a psychology degree. That way, if I talk about psychological problems, I can say, well, as someone with a degree in psychology, to give some weight to my words instead of just saying, well, as someone with a fascination of psychology, a history of psychology, someone who went to school for psychology, here's my opinion on this. Go see a psychologist because they're way more well-informed than I am, because I just took intro classes. I think I only took like Psychology 101 and Cultural Psychology, and I think like one other class. Those were all the psychology classes I took before, and I just had to take all the stupid prereqs. But that was my college life. I do kind of want to go back just to get a degree in something. That way I can say, oh yeah, I went to school and I have a degree in blank. So I just go back and pick whatever doesn't have any math or stupid language requirements. And I'll be like, I have all of these other prereq classes done. Just give me a degree in something. That's probably what I do if I go back. I don't really need a degree in psychology because I don't want to take a stupid language class again. Okay. Next question. Man, I wanted this video to be under an hour long. I can't do that. I'm incapable of not talking forever. So how is studying psychology in America like? It sucks. If you could make a mom from a game into a battle pet that doesn't already have one, which would you choose? A yak. There's no yaks yet, surprisingly. Hiru, what is the worst manga/anime you realized is shit, but you liked? All slice of life animes. I love slice of life animes. Like cute girls doing cute things. Those are my favorite. Like K-On! Is the Order of Rabbit. Favorite shows. I watch all of them every season because I just love them. But I know they're not like the best kinds of entertainment. It's like the reality TV of anime, except it's more scripted and it's actually more enjoyable. But I love that shit. Hey Hiru, there was someone who put the damn Symmetra portal 5 feet from spawn on Overwatch going by hirumaredx, and if it was you, be ashamed for that fact. Yeah, that was me. You probably played with me. I play a lot of Symmetra if I play Overwatch. And my name is definitely hirumaredx on there. It was probably me, which is a super surprise. I'm surprised someone who... because the guy who made this one right here, he actually comments a lot on the Q&A videos. So I'm surprised that someone who's a regular watcher of the Q&A videos actually played with me in Overwatch. Last time I played Overwatch, I got noticed by like 2 different people, which is super weird because nobody notices me. I'm not that big. Like even in WoW, I hardly ever get recognized. Mainly because my main character is named Haruma Gold and not Haruma Red. And I guess my name is Haruma Red in Overwatch, but I didn't think there'd be a lot of overlap from WoW videos into Overwatch. And it was like 2 different people in like the same day. And that's it, actually. I've been playing a lot of Overwatch before then, and no one ever said shit. So it was basically just this one day, 2 different people recognized me. I was like, hey, are you a YouTuber? And I was like, yeah. They're like, you fucking liar. I was like, oh, shit. Okay. I'm sorry. People say that to me. They say, they'll ask if I'm me, and then they'll call me a liar and say, prove it. I was like, why do I have to prove myself to you? You're the one who asked me the question. I'm not like trying to scam you out of anything. I could understand like, oh, prove it if you're actually you. If I was asking them for something, it's like, hey, can I get like a free game review because I'm this YouTuber? I can understand in that situation be like, oh, prove it. We're not going to give you a free review copy if you say you're this YouTuber because you could just be someone pretending to be them. I get it. In that circumstance, you'd be like, yeah, prove it. But if a random fan just asks me, hey, are you this YouTuber? And I'm like, yeah. It's like, I don't believe you. You're probably someone pretending. Prove it. I think like, oh, no, I don't have to do anything. But that happens a lot more than you'd think. Next question. Oh, my chest is hurting a little bit. Ooh, tiny little flare up. Next question. Why do you do hour-plus long Q&As? They're nice for my more dedicated fans like me, but they can't be earning you much revenue. They seem to be generally your least watched videos, and at their length, they probably take as long as your top 10s to make. They do not. Why do I do hour-long Q&As? Because I love to talk about myself. So it's fun. I do this for fun. It is nice for the dedicated fans, but they can't be earning me much revenue. Yeah, that's absolutely true. I earn like nothing from these videos because they get like no views. If I wanted to get these to have more views, what I would do is, one, make them shorter, way shorter, like 20 minutes at the max. And even that would probably be too long for some people. Again, I'd also need to stop numbering the video, like, Q&A number 33. Why is the number 33? There's no reason for that. I do that because I'm lazy and I don't want to actually give it a title. So I just number it instead, because I don't have to think of a title if I do that. And also that means I won't have, like 30 different videos with the exact same title. That's why I number them, because I'm lazy. So another thing that I'd do if I wanted it to have more views was to give it a better title, like Hiru's Q&A. Is hirumaredx the real one? Because lots of people say that he's not when they ask him if he's him. No, that's not good. It has to be clickbaity. Did I say anything? I went on vacation. That's not interesting either. Health problems? Ooh, that's pretty clickbaity. Yeah, I'd have to give it a nice title like that. And then say like Q&A or something. I know how to get it more views. I just don't care. And they do not take as long as my top 10s to make. These are definitely the fastest videos I make. Because I basically just talk for an hour, and then I put it into my video editor, and I think maybe I should take out this part right here while I ramble about that thing that I shouldn't talk about, and I'll go in and take that out. And I think, actually, yeah, I think I only did that once. I rarely ever go back and edit these videos, besides just removing background noise, which I can do as soon as I'm done reading, since I record all of it in Audacity. As soon as I hit stop record, I can just remove the background noise like in an instant, and then render it out, and then put it in my video editor, and then just take some random stream footage and put it on top, and render out the video, and I'm good to go. Super easy stuff. There's like almost no editing involved, except that one time. What was I talking about that one time? I remember I had to take out like 10 minutes worth of stuff in one of my videos. I think someone asked why I got removed from my raid team. Because I got removed from a raid team like back in Cataclysm, one that I used to lead. So I was telling the story, and I was like, oh man, this story, it has too much personal information. I can't tell the story because I'm still friends with some of the people who were involved in that whole situation, so I took it out. Because it wasn't vague enough. And I can't really tell the story without giving specifics. Because it wasn't about actually raiding. It was definitely like 100% personal problems. Like drama with raiders and stuff like that. So I can't tell that story without giving specific details. But I can't say that I wasn't removed from the raid team because I was a bad raider or anything. It was definitely because of interpersonal relations with other raid members. And so I took that out, because you can't really talk about that without going into details. I'm fine with talking about myself. I'm not fine with talking about other people's personal business. And you guys should be too. Especially not in, a video that's going out to a whole bunch of different people. That's probably not a good idea. Especially if you still talk to some of the people involved all these years later. Okay, so I think I pretty much answered that question, right? Why did I do hour-long Q&As? Because I love to talk about myself. I remember in my old job where I used to work at, we'd get new hires like all the time. So I got really good at experimenting with different ways in which I could both start a conversation with them and get them comfortable enough around me in which I could start talking to them like a friend, and in which I could immediately transfer that into me just talking about myself, because I really just wanted to tell my stories to new people. So we get a new hire, I'd be like, oh, hey, new person, and then I would do something weird. That way they thought I was kind of a weird person, because if someone thinks you're weird, they'll think they're better than you. And if they think they're better than you, then they'll be less guarded around you. Because why would you be socially guarded around someone who you think is lesser than you? And in which case, that gets them to open up quicker. And then you can just slowly stop pretending to be weird around them and seem more normal and chill and down to earth. And then you just do that like over a couple of weeks. And then eventually you can talk to them like normal. And this strategy has you... I used it on pretty much everyone I've ever worked with, and I have a 100% success rate with it. And all of this was to eventually get to the end goal in which I could talk to them while we worked together about myself as much as I wanted to. And it was so much fun experimenting with different ways in which I could accomplish this goal quicker. But I always succeeded. Because, I mean, what I was trying to go after wasn't really anything major. I was just trying to get them to tolerate my presence enough so that I could talk to them and eventually turn every conversation into something about me. Those were fun times. I don't really do that anymore. This is kind of like my replacement. It's just answering questions. And it generally is kind of what I used to do. I'd ask them questions about themselves or talk about something, and then go on tangents, and eventually it would relate back to something about me in which I could just keep talking about my favorite subject, which is stuff that involves me. They're more for dedicated fans, but they can't be earning you much revenue. No, they don't. They seem to be your least watched videos. Oh, definitely they are. And at their length, they probably take you as long to make as top 10s. Oh, God, no. Top 10s take so much more time. A quick top 10 will take me about 8 hours to make. This video takes me about an hour to record. Well, I mean, I guess an hour and a half. And then like 5 minutes to edit. And then I just render it out while I do other shit. So, super quick shit. Shoot, this is going down to an hour and a half. I'm gonna speed through these last like 7 questions. There's still so much. A question: if you could design a mount for WoW, what would it be? I have no idea. I thought I would be able to think of something by the time I copied this down to the time I actually read it on the Q&A. And I can't think. I don't really care for mounts that much. Maybe like a fighter jet or something. That could be cool, I guess. Next question. Just missed your gay time stories. I don't have any gay stories today. You sound so out of breath and tired, almost panting. Do you do your Q&As in one long take or split it up? One long take. Sometimes I'll take a small little break to go drink of water, but I edit those out. That's one of the few things I edit. So you shouldn't see too many of those unless I miss a couple. The chest pains you talk about, I have them too. Started at age 20. It lasted about 1.5 years before the constant pain went away. But at age 25, now I still have them to some degree, but only if I get pressure on the left side of my chest. I can sleep on my stomach, but if the sheets curl up where my left chest side is, I almost scream due to the pain. Worst part is if I'm having my significant other in my lap. She can't lean back on my left side. Got to try sitting in some weird way to be safe. But I hope that it doesn't last long and no after problems like I have. Best of luck to you, lad. Yeah, that sounds pretty much like all of the things I read online about the chest problems I have. They can last for a really long time. And you can get pain if you get hit on it. I remember when I was out, when I was on my vacation, we rented boogie boards one day. Well, I rented like 3 of them. And we went out to the waves and we tried like catching them. And I tried to like jump over the waves with the boogie board. And I didn't really do it correctly. And the wave like pushed it into my chest. And it just, slammed the boogie board into my chest. And I was like, oh shit, this is going to hurt so much. And I was fine. I was like, that scared the shit out of me though. I'm not going to do boogie boards anymore because I thought for sure that was going to hurt like hell. But I was totally fine. I didn't do boogie boards for the rest of the day, but that scared the hell out of me. I'm so glad nothing happened though. But it just fucking slammed that shit into me. I was like, oh god, I'm gonna be in so much pain, and I was fine. Thankfully, I should say. Can't believe I've been subbed since like 30k subs. That had to have been like, what, a couple years ago? Because I do not gain subscribers fast. It is a very slow process. That's why I started doing the news video thing. Because if you're going to make a WoW news video show, you want to make them a little bit longer than 3 minutes. Because you get paid based on like how long your videos are and how many views you get. So a video like my top 10 undead characters, which is like 30 minutes long, it only has like 100 to 200,000 views, but it does very well in the monetary component because it's like a half-hour long video. As compared to another video that might be like 5 minutes long, but have like 500,000 views. The 200,000 view 30-minute long video will probably make more because length is more important. But you also, do want to get views, and people aren't very likely to watch long videos. So you have to be at a nice balance where you're able to make a long video, but also have people watch it in droves and watch it all the way through. Because if people watch a long video and then cut out after like the first 2 minutes, YouTube doesn't like that, and they'll stop suggesting your video. So you want to have a long video with long retention time. That gets lots of views. That's the perfect video. So doing a news video that's 3 minutes long, not very good for that. But I thought that might be a good way to get more subscribers. So I'll just do that every week from now on. Just like a quick little 3-minute recap of the week of WoW news. Because no one else does that, and I really like that. Because there's this other guy who does it for PS Vita and Switch news. I thought, ooh, that's a really nice format. I'm going to steal that and do it for WoW. Even though it's not very good in a monetary point of view, I think that is a pretty good way to get more subscribers. Because I gain subscribers very slowly. But I get lots of views. So it's not really a big deal. It's just I get way more views than I do subscribers. And that's, I think, a big problem of it is that I don't ask for subscribers at the end of my videos like everyone else does. If you wondered why YouTubers go like, hey, make sure to like and subscribe at the end of the videos, it really helps me out, because it really does help them out. They're not kidding about that. Also, it has been scientifically proven that if you just simply ask people to do something, they'll do it. Even if it's annoying to hear everyone do it, they do it for a reason, because it works. I know this. I just still refuse to do it anyway because I think it's stupid. But I'm definitely not doing well because of that. I mean, I'm still doing well. That's not the right word for it. I could be doing better if I just simply caved in and started asking for subs and likes at the end of videos. Because that absolutely does work and helps out. I remember I made a video where I joked about it in the video. I was like, hey, make sure to subscribe and like the video if you like this. Like every 2 minutes. And that video got like more likes and subscribers than like any other video I'd made at the time. This is back when I was still kind of a smaller channel. But I was like, oh shit, this really does work. I was just kidding about it, and I got more likes and subs than usual from the video. Next question. WTF? I love Dave and DevBot. I've seen every episode and watched them again frequently. That's nice. I really like that someone enjoys the thing I've created. There is no better feeling in the world than someone who enjoys a creative project you've made. Or even talks about what their favorite characters are. Oh, that is the bestest feeling in the world. So I like that you like Dave and DevBot, even though I know it's not very good. I honestly wanted to stop the series because I thought the first season was a mess. But I will continue it until it's done, just because I watched another web show that stopped after its first season. I really wanted to see how it concluded, And then I read like a blog post they made about how they weren't going to do it because they weren't really interested in it anymore. I was like, that's dumb. I'll never do that. And that's why I've continued Dave and DevBot. And I still need to finish the last episode of the second season. It was supposed to come out like back in February. But then I had a whole bunch of health problems and I'm still only like halfway done with the last episode. Even though it's supposed to be done so long ago. I had so many plans to do so many different machinimas this year. And then I had a whole bunch of health problems that just completely put all of those on hold. So instead, I only put out like most of the second season of Dave and DevBot. And I have 2 episodes of The Melancholic Adventures of Inzoth, which has been getting very positive comments. I'm glad that people like it. It's not doing very well. It doesn't get a whole bunch of views. But the people who are watching it seem to really like it, which is a lot better than Dave and DevBot. it gets more views than that as well, and the comments are a lot more positive about it. Like, oh wow, this is actually really good. I think that's mostly because the editor who makes the videos is also just really good at making machinimas. And he's doing a really good job with it. Plus, I thought the story was super solid. I thought it was nice and unique, and the characters were funny enough to really carry it. And people seem to agree, which is just great. And I have so many. I say I have so many. I have 2 other stories I really want to make. But I have to finish Dave and DevBot first. Before I can start them, I want to do a series with Henrik Cross, the Destruction Mage or the Apocalypse. It'll be called The Burning Crusade, because I think that's a super clickbaity name for a machinima series. And it will be about him in the Burning Crusade, and he'll meet another mage who can't use magic and beats everything to death with his staff, because I thought that would be funny. And then they'll go on an adventure where a Death Knight chases them, and they have to run away and find out why is there a level 90 Worgen Death Knight in the Burning Crusade. And that will be the mystery, and it will be like 4 episodes long, because I don't want to make anything long like Dave and DevBot again. I want to make new series, but I want to make them short series. I also still want to do that boar one I keep talking about in all these Q&A videos, where it's about a guy who dies and wakes up in WoW as a boar and has to survive. I brainstormed some ideas with a friend of mine, and I really like the way the story is going to go, but I can't really talk about it because there's going to be a twist in the beginning where you'll find out the main character is actually a very terrible person, and I have to do it in a way where it's not like super edgy. Like, ooh, I'm going to make a story where the main character is actually a bad guy. That's like one of the most common cliche things that young amateur writers fall into. So I have to be careful not to do that. You don't want to just write the main character as a bad guy, because there has to be a reason for the audience to root for them or to want to see them do anything. And I think I have a good way to do that. He's not going to be a bad guy, but he's definitely going to be a terrible person. And I have to do that in a way that it's funny, because it's going to be a comedy series. But I have some good ideas for it, and I really hate being vague about it, so I'm just going to stop talking about it now. Because I'm pretty sure most of you guys don't care. Because I know I don't care when people talk about like future series they're going to do and they're just super vague about it. I'm like, oh, just shut up about it, or, give me actual details. But I'm a lot more interested about what they have to say about series, after I've already watched it. Like watching DVD commentary on stuff is like, ooh, this stuff's interesting. But if you hear behind the scenes stuff before you've seen the product itself, it's not as interesting. Kind of like how sometimes YouTubers will make Twitter posts like, ooh, I'm almost done with my next video. I'll be like, no one cares. I don't care. I like your videos, but I don't care, because I don't know what the video is. You've given me nothing to go on. Or sometimes they'll post screenshots of like their editing board, like a picture of Sony Vegas where they have all their editing, like all the video files and sound files, or I guess just their editing thing. And it's just something super basic, but since editing is such an extremely time-consuming process, it looks complicated to the average person. But I see that and I just think, ugh, I get it, because I get the urges too when I'm editing something. It's like, ooh, I really want to share this with my fans now because I think this is really cool. And then I think, oh wait, I see when other YouTubers do this, and I think it's kind of stupid. I'll hold back, and instead just do this after the fact. And in which case, once I'm done with the video, I don't ever want to talk about it again. Because nothing kills your enjoyment for something than for working for 10 hours straight on it. After I make a video, I never want to see that video ever again. I remember after I made the mailbox video, I thought, this is the most boring video I have ever seen. I cannot believe I wrote this down and thought it was a good enough idea, and actually researched it and read it and got all of the footage for it and put it together, and still thought it was a good idea. This is the most boring video I've ever seen. My subscribers are going to hate it. I should delete this video. And then I decided, I was like, if I went through all the effort to do it and I didn't think about anything until right now, it's probably fine, because I feel this way about all the videos I make after I spent so long editing it. And I put it out and it did fine. I thought people were going to hate it though. But that's what editing does to you. It makes you hate what you're doing because you spend so much time on it. And then I go back and watch some of my videos like half a year later, and I think, oh wow, this is very well put together. Good job, past me. You actually put effort into this. Usually you're so lazy. Because I have a huge point where I like to make my videos look more professional than they really are. That's my favorite thing to do whenever I'm editing. It's like, how can I make this video look better while at the same time not taking long? Or, in fact, double bonus, being shorter to edit than normal while also looking better. And that's what I strive for. Ways to make the editing process shorter while also making the video look better. Super hard to do though, because usually if you want a video to look better, you can just put more time into it and it will look better. But that's not what I like to do. I like to have ways to shorten the editing time and make it look better. I also just don't want it to stagnate. You don't want to just keep doing the same thing over and over. As a creative person, you have to strive to do better. And I think this is a good compromise for me. Okay. Oh man, that was too much talking. Next question. Oh, this one. I'll have to preface this question. Actually, I'll just read it. So, I always knew you had this nonchalant, devil-may-care, just the tiniest bit of an asshole thing about you. And for the most part, I like it. But why TF bother having dogs if you're going to keep them locked outside 24/7? Like, what a fucking horrific existence. Oh, this is hurting my throat. Grow a pair and give them to someone that actually wants them. The thing about owning animals, and this is why I get so triggered, is that you literally decide the life they're going to have. And you know, it's not like they can come up to you one day and be like, hey pal, fuck this shit, I'm out of here. You know? So, yeah, boy, I hate people that are douches to their pets, and keeping them outside all fucking day definitely qualifies. Alright, I'm back. I had to go get a drink of water. Reading that hurt my throat. Not using my real voice, for some reason, makes me lose breath a lot quicker. It hurts my throat. Okay, so, I mean, my fake voice doesn't even sound that much different from my real one. It's just, I read it as if an interesting person is reading it. That's the best way to describe how I do it. The slight inflection in my voice seems like I'm more interested and involved in it. People like it. I used to get tons of complaints when I used my real voice in videos, and now I just get tons of compliments instead with the fake voice I use. Okay, so this statement, I guess, is not really a question. I can kind of see where they're coming from before I talk about my dog situation, because I do also see lots of people who get pets and they don't take care of them. Like very often, my own family does it. It's so infuriating. Like they want a pet and they don't even think about the consequences of owning one. As like whenever I think about getting a pet, I immediately think, oh, that's going to be a huge pain in the ass to potty train them, to buy them like food, or, all of the terrible parts that come with owning a pet. Because it's a lot of responsibility, and I don't like responsibility. I like to only have to care about myself. I like my niece and nephew a lot, but I don't want to babysit them because they're a lot of work. I like them in small doses. Other people's kids are the best kids because you don't have to take care of them all the time. Same thing for pets. But anyways, we have 2 dogs here. Neither of them are mine. One of them belongs to my little brother because they got it for him when he was still a kid for Christmas. It was like his Christmas present. And since I was the one who stayed home all the time, I was the one who potty trained it and took it for walks. And after my little brother moved out with my mom, they just kind of left it here, and they got a new dog because they wanted a really tiny, inside dog, and they left it here because I don't know. I guess they wanted to leave it with me because I was the one who took care of it, and I took it on a walk every day, and they just kind of forgot about it. And then the other one belongs to my older sister, who bought it when she moved out the first time because she wanted a dog for her house. And then they moved back, after a couple of months, because I don't know, something didn't work out. And then we had 2 dogs. And after that, I started alternating the walks. So I would take one day and the other on the other day. And that's the only time they went on walks. I was the only one who actually took them out and did things with them because, like I said, I totally understand where this person's coming from. You get a dog and then you kind of forget about it after the honeymoon phase is over and don't take them on walks or anything. They would still play with them every once in a while. But, taking them on walks isn't something they were going to do. But that is something I did, though. And they were inside dogs for a while. It's just my sister had her kids, my niece and nephew. When my nephew was born, the 2 dogs were still inside. And then there were multiple incidents with the dogs biting him. So they became outside dogs out of that because my sister was understandably not comfortable with the dogs being around, like a toddler. Because dogs are very nervous around children and toddlers. And my nephew would pull their tails, which he didn't know any better. He was a baby. So we just put him outside rather than keeping, having to always have them separated, with gates and everything. It was just easier. Plus, my sister was super freaked out about them biting her kid again just because he got bit 3 or 4 times. It was a more than one time thing. But then again, he was a kid, and it wasn't all at the same time. It was over the course of a year or 2. But eventually they became outside dogs, and then I bought them a pool so that they could swim in it. I mean, a little pool, like the ones you buy for $15 at the store. And I just clean it out every week and give them water and food like normal. And I'd still take them on walks every day. And if it ever rained or if there was fireworks, they got to come inside because they were afraid of that stuff. So they're basically outside dogs, so they did get to come in when, if we ever had extreme heat warnings or just rain or if there was fireworks, because the dogs don't like that. And we have neighbors around here who fucking love fireworks. They have their own personal fireworks shows. I don't need to go out to a public place for fireworks because I am guaranteed to have at least 2 or 3 of my neighbors around here have their own personal show. I don't even know where the fuck they get these big ass fireworks, but I can just open up my window and have my own fireworks show because they love fireworks. So it's so annoying. On the 4th of July, I just had the dogs in my room just shaking next to my feet the whole time. I was like, oh my god, we live in the suburbs. There shouldn't be any fireworks around here. But yeah, anyway, I am the completely wrong person to be having these kinds of gripes with because they're not even my dogs, but I take care of them more than their owners do. I guess Lucky is technically mine now since my little brother moved out. And he was too little anyway. But I take care of them. And my sister, because I live with my little sister now and her boyfriend, they play with them all the time. In fact, they prefer them over me As soon as they get home, they'll go downstairs and hang out with them. But oh yeah, they're inside dogs now. Now that my older sister has moved out, the kids aren't here anymore. They're inside now. The problem was basically just that there were children in the house, and you don't really want to have children around dogs, especially aggressive ones. I hate to say it, but Lucky is aggressive. The little yellow whitish one. I have very long scars on my stomach from him attacking me because I tried picking him up. I still take him on walks all the time, and I even saved him once when he got attacked by a stray. And he's still super cute. It's just, he is aggressive. If I go out on a walk and if someone's like, "Ooh, can I pet your dog?" I'll say, "No. My dogs are not friendly." I hate having to say that, but they're not friendly. They haven't been properly trained to be around other people. And all I did was train them to, potty train, not pee and poop inside, and to not poop in other people's yards when we're on walks. And also to poop in places where I can pick it up easier. With the stupid bag and everything. I've trained them to go in very specific locations, but I haven't trained them to be friendly to other people. But, I mean, it's not like they'll just go and start biting people as soon as they go by them. They're usually fine. They only go crazy if there's like another dog on the walk. Usually it's more of a just to be safe, don't pet my dog. That kind of thing. But I don't get asked very often because when I go outside I have headphones in. People generally will leave you alone if you do that. I've only been asked like less than 5 times over like the 5+ years I've been taking them on walks, which is pretty acceptable amount of numbers considering I've been going every day until my chest problems, because I thought maybe that was probably contributing to it because my dogs, at least my little one, Lucky, he likes to pull on the leash hardcore because he's aggressive. And I don't know how to get him to stop. I've tried a lot of different things, but he just really loves to pull like fucking crazy on the leash. And I've just kind of gotten used to it. And I thought, I should probably stop taking him on a walk for a while since my chest is hurting. So I haven't taken him on a walk in the past 2 months, and this is literally the longest I've gone without taking him on a walk since they were born. So before, very recently, they went on daily walks. So they well taken care of. I also buy them toys all the time. My little one, Lucky, he loves stuffed animals, so I'll go to Goodwill every couple of weeks and just buy him a big-ass stuffed animal so he can have fun with it. And when I'm having fun, I mean he's not neutered, so he literally has fun with it. Next question. Very last one. I mean, shit, this is super long. God damn, this is almost 2 hours. Eat healthy, drink more water, work out, play less Warcraft, be more active, and take care of yourself, my dude. Maybe do videos on history of zones, lore-wise, what's happened there, etc. For the last part, maybe do videos on the history of zones. There is another YouTuber who does that. His name is The Lore Whore. I made a video describing, like 20 other channels you should subscribe to, and he was on that list. His videos are good. He doesn't upload often. I don't know if he's quit YouTube because it's probably been a long time since he's done his last one. But he has a lot of videos on the lore of zones, and they're really well done. Also, eat healthy, drink more water, work out, play less Warcraft. You see, the thing is, when I started having my problems, I was running for 3 miles a day. That's like 5K, about 5K for you people who use metric. That's a pretty significant amount of time to run every day. And I drink basically nothing but water, because I like water, and it's hot here. I just have a mini fridge full of water bottles, plus Kool-Aid Jammers that I drink very infrequently. So I drink lots of water. I did work out. I'd go run in the morning, and I also took my dogs on walks. And I didn't eat healthy, though. It's definitely a big contributor to it. And I played a lot of Warcraft. It's just the thing is, while I did work out and everything, it wasn't enough. Because I spent so much time sitting down, and that it kind of, the working out I did do just wasn't enough. If you sit down for 12 hours a day, but you work out for 1, that's not enough. And that's basically what I was doing. That's why I stand up a lot now in my standing desk. And I do eat a lot more healthy now because I have to, because of my IBS. Okay, so that's it for the Q&A for this week. It's super long. I wanted this to be short, but I just couldn't do it. I put too much questions in here. I'm gonna have to cut this down next time. I'm used to just answering every question because I don't get a lot. But I got a lot more this time around. Okay, so until next week, if you have a question you want me to answer in the next one, just make it as a comment in this video.